Live now, so they can see my screen. All right, please let's settle down. I believe those online you can see my screen. So we're talking about dictionaries yesterday, and we said dictionaries are unordered, right? They said this may not be clear at first with small dictionaries, but as dictionaries get larger, they won't retain order. That's because you can't really say you want to switch the key. All right, so dictionaries are key value pairs. You have a key, then you have a value. So they cannot be sorted. If you need order and ability to sort, stick with sequence like a list. So we did this. I think we were where we were was we were here, right? Whereby we talked about a dictionary being able to hold different kinds of data types. Like we said, it can hold numbers, it can hold string, it can hold a list, and it can also hold a dictionary as well. So if you look at this specific line 16 here, we have D is equal to, so the key here is K1, please. The key always comes before the word value.
Value, yes.
Yes, so K1 is 10, K2 is stringy, which is a string, K3 is a list, 1, 2, 3. Let me add 4 there. Then K4 is now a dictionary, right? That has K4 is a dictionary that has a list inside it, and that list has a dictionary inside it, right? So if you remember, if you recall, we did this yesterday, and we had this command here, DK4 inside key 3 key inside, then 1 to the end. Like I told you, if you don't put, this is slicing, if you can remember, right? And we can only slice using a list. Remember when we did list, we talked about list indexing and list slicing. We can slice a list whereby we use the square bracket, then you choose the start, the stop, and the what, and the step if you want to. So this line here, we say DK4, right? So what we are calling here, we are calling this specific key here, this K4 key. Do you understand? So when you call K4 key, when you call the K4 key, that means you're calling that K4 key. But we don't want the whole K4. Okay, let me just kind of break this thing down for us. Okay. All right. So if I say DK4 and I run this, I'm going to get the whole of this. I think this is too big. Then this is okay, right? You can see this now.
Yes.
So when I say DK4, can you see what happens? It brings out the whole of this. Are you with me? It brings out the whole of this. Then if I now say DK4, let me put this now, right? Okay, let's do this. DK4, let's take this to what? Let's do div K4 inside key, right? And I run this. Can you see what happens? DK4. Do you see what happened when we did DK4?
DK4 just brought up
Come
all
on,
of them.
let's do it line by line.
Okay.
DK4 is what DK4 brings. Are you with me? It brings out the whole value in K4. That's in key 4, right? Let me open a new cell, right? And I'll now say D K4, right?
Okay.
I close this, right? Then I now open it again and now say what? Inside key.
Side key.
Inside key, right? I close this, then I run this. You see what happens? It brings out only the inside key, which is this 20, 30, 40, which is now a list. I don't know if you get me. The inside key is now a list, which has 20, 30, 40, then a key inside it. In a dictionary inside it. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Okay, let me explain it again. DK4. Why I'm actually bringing K4 in because the rest are not complex. If I say K1, it's going to give me 10, right? If I say K2 to give me the word stringy. If I say K3 to give me the list 1, 2, 3, 4. But look at the key in K4. It has a list, it holds a list, right? Which inside that list, there's another key called inside key. Sorry, the K4 holds a dictionary, right? Which has a key, inside key, that holds a list that has 20, 30, 40, and a dictionary that now has another key inside. Are you with me? That holds a list 60, 20, and what? 30, which is a string.
Okay.
I don't know if you get me. So what I want to do, I want to show you what I want to get. I want to just get only this 20 and what? 30. But I want to take it step by step to show you how we did it. You understand? So now, when I do DK4, it gives me the whole of this dictionary, which is what? From inside key down to this. Are you with me? Then I now want to get, okay, let me see what is in inside key. And I'll do DK4, then what? Inside key. Are you with me? When I do that, it now gives me this list 20, 30, 40, then key inside. Are you with me? Then this is now a dictionary on its own.
Another dictionary
Okay.
inside the key.
All right. So that means we're heading somewhere. So let me open another one. I have DK4. Sorry. D.
Can I ask, can you
Yeah.
get a dictionary inside the list?
Dictionary inside the list. Yes. We did it.
Because that's what I'm saying.
We did it now.
Okay.
I forgot to. This is in the last class. We said a dictionary, a list can hold, a list and a dictionary have one thing in common. We talked about mutability yesterday. I don't know if you remember. A mutable data type is one that you can change, right? And it can hold different data types. Like if you look at this, we're talking about mutability when it comes to the whole data sets that are kind of sequences from list, tuple, dictionary, and set. The ones that are mutable are list and dictionaries. You understand? Tuples and sets are not that flexible. You understand? So now, after this, we now said the other one was what? Inside key. Please permit me to copy this so that I don't waste time to be typing. Control V, right? So now we have gotten the main key, which is what? The bigger dictionary. We have now gotten the inside key, which is what? The list, right? We now want to get the next dictionary that is inside the list. So what do? You know, now the list, to reference data, to reference items in the list, we use their index, right? So now look at this list here. The index starts from 0. So 20 is 0, index 1, index 2, and what? Index 3. So what I'm going to do here, I'll open a square bracket, type 3, and close my what? Square bracket, and I'll run this. Can you see? It now gives me the dictionary that is inside the list. Is it making sense? Mr. Cookie, you're looking okay. Okay.
Sorry, sir. Let me ask a question because you said if you want to get an index in the list,
Yeah.
start from 0.
Yes, the first item in the list, the index is 0.
Is 0.
It's not 1.
But when you run the key, when you run the listener, it's giving us index 60 to 20 and 30.
No, that is because what is giving us this whole dictionary from this place called key inside is one item.
Okay.
It's a dictionary, just that it now has a list inside it.
Okay.
That's why.
What about the other 0 2?
With 02.
Since we're starting, that 20 is 0.
And what I did right, but I don't want the 20. What I want to get is the dictionary. So I just referenced this index. That's why it brought that out for me. You understand? So now, after doing that, right, the next thing I want to get now, I want to get the items 20 and what? 30, right, which is in the list. So what I will do, sorry, permit me to copy all of this since I've explained this. Let me copy this and put it here, right? So now the next thing I'm going to do now, since I'm in the dictionary and the key in the dictionary is called key inside, I will now have to reference key inside.
inside.
Mm.
Then you now call for.
When I reference key inside, okay, I'm supposed to close it. When I reference key inside and I run it, can you see what will happen? It will give me only the list now that has 60, 20, and what? 30. But in this case now, I just want only 20 and 30 to appear, right? What I will do now, that's when I will now come and
Only
see
20 or 60.
20 and 30. 20 and this string 30
Okay,
to
this
appear.
30. Okay.
So what I will do, please let me copy this one again.
It will now be 1, 0, 1, 2 now.
Control V.
It's going to be 2.
So now I want to get just 20 and 30, right? Like I said, I'm going to slice it. How am I slicing it? Remember, this is a list. The index of 0 is what? The index of 60 is what? 0. Index of 20 is what? 1. Then this 30 is what? 2. So now I'll now say 1 because I just want only 20 and that 30 to appear. 1. I'll use my colon. Sorry. Then 1 to what? To the end. Right? I don't have to put it, or I can say 1 to what? 3. Right? Let's do it like this and see. Then we run this. So can you see? Tell me 20. Just give me what? 20 and 30. Right? So that's, I just broke down the steps for you to see how you can call different items in the listing. So if I don't want to do that, I could just say that it will give me the same output. Is that okay? Those online, is that okay? I'm lost, not following what's the topic of today's class. Creative tech. Chatbot will come later, right? We have two different aspects of this one. So now we are actually having model optimization, which we have been doing since. I don't know whether you've been attending the classes. So we have model optimization, then later on, chatbot without coding will come on. So that's that for that. Good morning. So that's that for that, right? Just like I said, if I want to call K1, I say DK1,
It's equal to 10 now.
it will give me 10. DK2 will give me
It's a
string,
which is
DK3 will give me 1, 2, 3. But I can also reference each item in the list. You know, this is a list. If I say DK30, it will give me what? 1. DK4, it will give me what? What we just did. We just did all these ones, not quite long, right? So it's the same process. So basically, that's what we do. You say error will occur if you ask the key that isn't there. If I say D, oops,
plug the button.
it won't work. So that gives me an error. So whenever you call a key that is not present, you get an error. They say keep dictionaries in mind when you need to create a mapping and you don't care about order, right? For example, we have things like this, something like this, short names, AAU for Ambrose Ali University, OAU for Obafemi Awolowo University, NILAG for Lagos, NDA for what? Nigerian Defense Academy, not national, sorry. Nigerian Defense Academy. So if we run this, I will now come and call the let's say short names. Let's print short names first. Is the whole dictionary, right? So if we now say short name Unilag, it tells us that this is what? University of Jos. So that's how we call items in a dictionary. Another example of dictionaries, population, pop in millions. That's population in what? Millions. Nigeria is 220 million, USA 323, Germany 83, then India 1,324,000,000. So if we run this, right, pop in mil Nigeria, we're going to get the number that is
If you run pop in me, we are going to get the dictionary.
If you go pop in mil, you're getting the whole dictionary. But if you now want a specific one, you have to put it in square brackets, then you call the key, right? This is the key. The key is the one that is always before the value. You understand? So the key is the one before the value. So we have the methods. We have the methods in for dictionaries. We have called the value method. So short names dot values. So it just gives us the values, only the values. Like I said, a dictionary is what? Key value mapping. So dot values give you only the, please look at the syntax. Short name dot values, then parentheses at the end, right? Then short name dot keys, it will give you only the keys, right? Short names dot items,
We are putting that in a variable. As A equals.
okay, yeah, A is equal to short name, so let us print it. So can you see? So dig items,
Item lists everything, both
List-
the key and the values.
list the key and the value, because those are the items. The items in the dictionary are the key and the what? Values.
When you talk about map, can you please go over that?
The mapping is your mapping. For example, now if you look at this example now, AAU is being mapped to what? Ambrose Ali. That's a mapping.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
AAU is being mapped to Ambrose Ali. In most of the key value that was is a key value mapping. If I say A1 is equal to 20, I've mapped A1 to what? 20. That's just what it means.
Assigning
Thank you. So it's just the English here. Ehen. Mapping.
The model can be only one to one.
It's one to one. One to one. Mostly one
Yes,
to
it's
one.
1 to 1.
It's one to
That's
one.
one.
But you can call to 1 to a list.
You can call a list, but it's still one to one. Just that
Okay,
now
that
the,
list
the,
is
the
one.
list now can have many items. You can also map one to a dictionary, and that dictionary will still have many items inside. So it all depends on the logic you're trying to create and the number of items you have to work with. Do you understand? So the next one is tuples, right? Tuples are ordered sequences. Now, the difference between a dictionary and a list is that a dictionary is unordered. You understand?
Yes.
A dictionary doesn't have an order, it's unordered. Right? Or what it means is that you cannot sort the items in the dictionary like that's in the list. A list is ordered, right? A list is ordered. It has its index. It has its index, right? But you see in what they call it, dictionary, you can't really say you want to sort a dictionary.
Can you please show us an example of that?
Come on, let me look for my lists. Okay, like look at this, right? You can use the sort method for a list. Can you see?
Short method.
Sort, S-O-R-T,
My list of sorts.
not sort, reverse,
So what
sort.
happens when you do sorts?
It sorts it. Let's go to the list. This is a list called my list.
1, 2, 3. Square brackets.
What's happening?
It shouldn't happen again. You know, it happened yesterday. It was hanging.
Okay.
You know, on top of. Yeah, looking for something.
I want to go to the sort part. I just want to go and we have this my list,
Okay.
right? If I say my list dot reverse, it will reverse it, right?
So it will be 3.
So let me reverse. So you see, 3, 2, 1.
That's the.
That's one.
sorting.
That's the you don't sorting it from what back to front.
So we can do that with
How do I have a dictionary? Look at this one. My list, right? Then my list dot sort. Did I run this? Right? And if I run my list, can you see? So now what I'm doing is this. Sort means arrange it. You can, if you put in reverse, it will reverse it for you. If you put only sort, it will sort it ascending order for you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
that works only with numbers, right?
works only with list. Doesn't work in.
I mean, in a list.
Yeah, it work with numbers. It cannot work with strings. Remember, yeah, you said that in our last class too. So can we proceed to?
Yes.
All right. So, like I said, the difference between a list and a dictionary is that you can sort a list, but you can't sort a dictionary, right? Now, but the similarity between a list and a dictionary is they are both mutable. You can change their values, you can change their items,
What
right?
about variable? Are variable mutable?
Variables are just containers used to hold any data type.
So a dictionary not like that.
They are not data types.
Okay.
A variable, given a variable, look at this t. T here is a variable.
Yes.
It now holds a tuple 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
This same t can be a variable that will hold a string.
It's
Yes.
just a name.
So please, mind you, don't mistake variable and data type. A variable is more like a container that you use to assign a data type to, right? While a data type now is more like how do I put it? Just like in data type, more like a type of
Data.
data. Ehen. So
Alright, the question is, you said that T we can use it to store
It's a
numbers
container.
like this.
yes,
And we can use the same T to
store
store
lists.
string also.
Mhm.
Okay, does that mean we can use it in the same program?
if
The same code?
you don't use it in the same code, it's not advisable. But you see in this one, right? For example, now if I say t is equal to 1, 2, 3, and I come and say t is equal to that as a tuple here, and then I come and say t is equal to maybe the dog eats bone
Yes.
in quotation
A string.
is here as a string. The one that the dog eats bone, if I put it last, it will override
The other one,
override the
that's
first
right.
one.
So it recognizes the last.
It recognizes the
Instruction.
last instruction you get. So it's not advisable to use one string. I mean one variable. I sent a link to show you. I don't know if you've checked it. Data types that are accepted in Python.
That was why I was searching on those things.
Don't worry, I'll still redo it today and send it. I thought I did it yesterday. I did it. I don't know why it's not showing.
The assignments.
Not
The assignment is showing,
The assignment is straight.
but I did the
lecture
notes
The
are not
lecture note,
showing.
the video.
So so I was saying something, right? The
Yes.
similarity between dictionary and list is they are both mutable.
Mutable.
Now the similarity between a list and a tuple is you can sort them. You understand? But the difference between a list and a tuple is that one is mutable while one is not. So we said here, we said tuples are ordered sequences just like a list, but have one major difference. They are what? Immutable, meaning you cannot change them. So in practice, what does it actually mean? It means that you can reassign an item once it is tuple, unlike a list when you do not have a what? Reassignment. So we're looking at creating a tuple. So, like I said, a tuple is just very simple. You use parentheses.
When we say you can't reassign, it means that you can't reassign an item once.
Yes, you can reassign. That's what I always said is not mutable. That's the same thing I was saying. You cannot reassign it. You understand?
Not getting that.
When you reassign something, well, we'll look at examples here,
Okay.
right? So I feel everything is always better
When you say
when we demonstrate. That's why we're having this class. I don't like this class. I don't even like
theory.
I don't like the theory part. Sorry. Yeah, well done, welcome.
That's too much. Eh?
Okay, I promised to do something. I forgot. Okay, so tuple now, they say creating a tuple, you use parentheses and commas to hold a what? A tuple. So just like I said, look at what we did here. T is equal to 1, 2, 3. That's a tuple. Let's print this so that you can see how the output will be.
A question, please.
Yeah.
So when we have T is a variable, right?
Yeah.
And we have appearances with number inside. That's the two.
That's a tuple.
When it's with other appearances, that will be a variable. If it's T equals 1 to 3 without appearances, that's a variable. Right?
Variable is
No, you're not getting the logic. You're not getting the logic.
variable is a variable.
A
Okay, T said
variable.
as a variable.
Let me tell you what a variable is.
Okay.
Let's say you buy an empty container from the market, right? Let's say an empty, let me use an empty transparent rubber container. In our homes, we normally use that to store what? Either milk, right? You can use it to store sugar. You can use it to store salt. You can use it to store Maggi. Now that container now is a variable. Because a variable is a container. Why? Because that container, if I want, I can store milk today. Tomorrow, maybe my milk finish and now buy sugar and there's no way to store it. I'll just have to what?
Yes.
Pour the sugar back inside. The sugar finish, I bought salt. I don't know where to put the salt. I can wash it, pour. So that's the idea of a variable. So now, in Python or in most programming languages, we have what they call data types. And data types don't exceed, just that in Python, it's like most programming languages, they don't exceed integers, which are numeric.
Integer, string,
We have strings.
boolean, and the rest.
We have Boolean. Boolean are true or
True or
false.
false.
Those we have in Python. Those
Is it
float is numeric. I said numeric. We have numeric. We have strings. We have Boolean. Python now gave us lists. They gave us tuples. They gave us dictionaries for what? Sequences.
Sequences.
Yes, for sequential
Okay.
items. So now all these now are what they call data types. So if I want to declare a data type now, I have to call it in a variable. I have to put it in a variable. For example, now A is equal to this. That A is a variable because it has held a certain data type, whether it is a string, whether it is a integer, a float,
or
a
boolean.
list, or a boolean. I don't know if you get me. So that's the difference. So don't confuse variable and data type. Understand? Our advice, if you have time, go to this website.
3W school.
W3 Schools.
W3 school.
Besides that,
W3 Schools.
Just type it as pronounced.
W3 schools.
Let me just look at it here. This is the website. You see this website, right? It's actually very good for learning. If you look at this, we have what? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, Java, PHP. You understand? There's a drop down somewhere. Can you see C, C++, C Sharp, Bootstrap, React, MySQL, jQuery? It goes. So at the end of the day, if you're someone that is passionate about programming, right? This is a very good tool for you. If you want to learn programming, I want to advise you to stick to just one platform. This is one platform. It gives you options. Can you see here? Try it yourself, try it yourself, try it yourself. So once you click try it yourself now, if you click here now, it takes you to another tab and tells you this is example of this, blah, 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 and all that. So if you run it, it should give you the answer. Although I think probably I don't have a specific add-on. That's why it's not. But just look at this, w3schools.com. If you go to w3schools.com, you have different languages there that you can use. So if I say, for example, now A is equal to A is equal to 25.
Which is integer.
Are you with me?
We call for
Moga?
A. We call
A is equal to 25. A is a variable. And what does it hold?
25.
25. Now, see what I'm saying here? If I should run A, right? And I print A,
print
A will give me 25. You understand? Then if I now still want to come and use this A, maybe A now is equal to, this becomes a string. The boy likes cheese.
cheese
Mm.
or chicken.
I think it'll be okay.
Okay. The boy likes chicken,
Chicken.
right? And I run this. Then I now come here and I print it. I told you can also use a print A, right? You must not use this thing. If I use print A,
Watch.
sorry, my keyboard is kind of different. It's Japanese. I have to format everything again. Can you see what happens here?
Yes, boy like
The boy likes chicken. So you see what you were saying, because I've changed the value of A now from 25 to the boy likes chicken. If I print A, it overwrites
so
25.
25 is out.
That one is out.
That one is out.
So if you want to put 25, maybe if you call 25 A, call the boy eats chicken B, or call it something. Just find a name. There are no there are constraints though to the type of variable name you can have in Python. I think I sent it, and if you check here, this one, right? These are it's a variable names, right? So example of legal variable name. Look at how you can name them like this. But example of invariable, you cannot start a variable name with a number.
Where the number that.
You cannot have a hyphen between these things. Then you cannot have a space. You understand? But any other one that appears, I sent the link. So please, when I share the note, you can check it. So that is just that about variables, right?
Okay, there's something I was just thinking. Since the other one overrode the first one, but if you actually want to make use of the first one, you have to declare it again before you want
You
to.
have to
As long
declare
as it's a set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it overwrites that one there.
No, you declare it another. If you want to declare it with the same variable, it will overwrite the one.
Yes.
So that's why I said it's advised you use a different variable name. You understand? So look at another tuple here. They say a tuple can take mixed data types. You understand? Just like we said with a list.
So
And
what is it to when you see it, how do you recognize
first of all, look at how it is declared. It is declared with parentheses. A list is declared with square brackets. A dictionary is declared with curly brackets. Those are the first differences you should look out for. So that is how you even know. So far, you're using the Python programming language. Once you see square brackets, once you see a square bracket like this is a square bracket. This is a list. Once it's something like this, once it becomes like this, a dictionary. Once it becomes this, is a tuple. You understand? But we'll see there's a twist somewhere that you'll see something, but I will explain when we get there. So a tuple can hold mixed value. So you can see here, we have this, right? So T is holding a string called A and is holding a number 1. So look at it, A1. They say indexing works just like a list too. So you can index it. So if I say T0, it will give me what? A. So the similarity, the only difference is that it is not mutable. Once you have put the items in the list, you can now come and change it. Just like what we had in list. We can add dot.
create
You have to create another one and probably add what you want. So they say immutability. So look at this. Let's look at this is now immutability. That's what we say. Mutability means it can be changed. Immutability means it cannot be changed. So the term started with what? A list, because a list is mutable. This is a mutable one. This is mutable. Mutable, right? That is can be changed. That means items can be changed. items can be changed, right? This is a list. So if I say type my list, this will tell me that this is what? It's a list. So what the type method does is that when you put the type and pass something, maybe the variable name, it tells you what data type you are working with. You understand? So just in case you forget maybe the square brackets, the curly brackets, the parentheses, always run that variable through the type method to tell you the type of data type you're working with. I don't know if it makes sense. All right.
So in one case, can we use Sudo? Like, why would I want to use Sudo? What can I do?
Well, if you want to have, let's say, items that you don't want anybody to alter or don't want them to be altered, do you understand? That's basically one step. But most times, like me, when I work, I actually use list more. I like lists. I like lists. Then when I want to map something to something, I use dictionaries. You understand? So
You said when you want to map something to something in dictionary, can we not map with lists?
come up with lists because it's not. It's just like the way they are structured. The list is not structured to. It's just structured to hold certain types.
And it can hold both string and
Yes, then that it can hold any data type. It can even hold this. It can hold the tuple self. It can even hold the list inside the list. You understand? I believe we saw that now. We saw a list inside the list, nested list. That's what they call them, right? Then, if you want to map, that's why the dictionary is there, right? Just like a dictionary. If I want to check a word, it is mapped. The word is mapped to what? A meaning. That's why it is called a key value mapping. That's why it's called a dictionary. The word is mapped to a meaning. So the key is mapped to what? A value. That's why it's called a dictionary. You understand? So now look at this. Why they say a list is mutable. Let me print this list. Let you see what the value is. My list. Right? It tells me 1, 2, 3. So no problem for a list. So now they say my list index 0 should be equal to new. What are we doing here?
we are adding something else to the list.
To the list, right? Where are we adding it?
To the first, the very
To the
first.
first. But look at from the list we ran. What's the first item here? Is 1, right? So now we're now saying my list index 0 should be equal to what? New. So let's run this and see. When we run this, right, then we now print my list. Can you see what happens? It changes that 1. Not that it will change it
That's
to
zero.
replace
That's
it.
zero. That's zero.
That index 0, which was the item was 1,
One.
it changes it to what? New. So that's what they call mutability. You can change it.
How about you want to add to the front?
That's where we talked about it in the last one. We use the word insert.
Okay.
You choose insert and choose the position you want to add it. You understand? If you want to add at the end, we use the method append. Append. That will I don't know if you can remember the last
The
class.
first one he said, what you said insert, which one do you use for insert?
You use my list dot insert. You get.
Okay.
Then you can choose the position, then comma what you want to insert.
Okay.
You understand? But if you want to add at the end, use the dot append. My list dot append. Then what you want to add, what happens is that it will now bring in what you're adding, but it puts it at the end of the list.
Why insert it at the front?
And insert doesn't put at the front. Insert, you have to choose the position. Yes.
Okay. So if I choose the first position, it won't change.
It won't change it. You just go and put in the first position and shift this one to the next one. Let's see if we can.
This is for real this is modification.
Let's come back to list. Sorry, I know this class was about. Let's just see how it goes. So if you look at this, right, this is append. So we had this list, right? Some list. Let me run this one, right? I print it, right? So now this is what the list carries: Esebom, Charles, and what? Stephen. And now say some list dot append Modinat.
Okay, there towards the end,
Yeah,
after Stevens.
So when I put it, can you see? Modinat comes at the end. That's what append does. If I say my list dot append, this one happened. I think they say my list. I've not declared it yet. And let's come to pop. let's say okay, let's use the sum list. Let's not use my list because I've not declared this one. Some underscore list dot pop, right? So let's run this. Can you see what it does? It brings out, it pops the last one out. You understand?
Okay, like delete.
So let me run the sum so that you can see what the output will be. Can you see? So it pops it out and deletes it.
But it should.
Oh no, what it will to pop it out and show you.
You.
But it has deleted it from the list.
Delete.
But to show you. So there are some logic that you can be writing that you want to in the list now, you only want to bring out that name, right? Or that item. You can pass that dot pop in a variable. What I mean is this, right? I can say A is equal to what? Some list dot pop. So now what this thing to pop it out from the list, but to now save it in a variable what?
Called
A. So you still have it somewhere. So it all depends on what you are working with. Okay? What have I done? Okay.
Do you know, man? This just language understanding. This is a common thing that we know that is around us.
Yes, now. That's why these things are called programming language or scripting language. They are languages. Not like now they say if you go to Birom land in Plateau State and you cannot speak the language, right? There's always a mode of communication. There's always a language. Either you learn the language or you find a way to communicate with them. So the way it is called a language is a language. That's why you're learning it. So that's just that. So that's about pop. So you see, I use last item my list of pop. So to save this pop in last item, I want to show you. Come on, let me run this. I want to show you insert. Okay, this is reverse. No, we showed reverse. Reverse. See insert, right? Can you see insert? So let me run my list here. Let you see. My list is 1, 2, 3. So my list dot insert 3, right? Well, when you want to insert, you choose the position. So I'm inserting at index 3, and I want to insert the word middle. Right? So when I run this and I print my list, can you see what happens there? It inserts middle at index 3. Now, this is not going to show well. Let's look at the next one. My list dot insert index 1, right? We want to insert church. When I do this, can you see what happens? So index 1 now, it's no longer
0 and 1.
index 1 used to be what? 2 here.
2,
But look at it here. Index 1 is church. It now shifted 2 to what? Index 2. You understand? So that's how you work with a list. So let's go back to our tuple.
Commands that work for list, they work for dictionary too, since they are both mutable.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the question. This one is talking about WhatsApp. WhatsApp will treat your WhatsApp later, sir. Don't be angry. And you're saying something.
Yes, I said lists and dictionary are mutable, right?
List and dictionaries are mutable.
Okay, so does this insert, append, pump, and reverse work for dictionary also?
It will work. Like append will not work.
Okay. Reverse.
Reverse will not work because reverse will work for numbers.
Okay.
Sorting, you can't sort a dictionary.
Okay.
Is there any example here about come on, let me just okay, probably I did not put dictionary methods here, right? I see methods, values, keys, items. Okay. I probably will just what you guys will do for me. Let's go and work on that. Let's go and see how we can
Okay. And experiment.
I too will experiment to see that. So we are here. If the boy likes chicken, right? So I showed you that one. So mixed variable, we can do that. Indexing, we can index a tuple. So say immutability, now what we're talking about here. I said we can add, can you see? So this is this, right? We have added a new, we change the value of index 0 to new from 1. right? So let us see if we can do it with tuple. This is a tuple now. T is equal to 1, 2, 3. So we want to change the index of 0. Can you see? It gives us an error because it is not what? Mutable. So those are just some examples. You can also add, you also can't add items in a tuple. Remember when we're doing dot append in list, you can't do that. If we do that here, we should still get an error. So we have tuple methods. This is a tuple A, B, C, A, right? I run this. Right? So if I now say T index A, T dot index is a method, dot index is a method. T dot index it gives me what? 0. But mind you that there's another A here. But it only gives me this one. It will not give me this one. So that's one thing with the index. If you have two items in a tuple, right, it will only give you the one that it first sees. Do you get? But you can use the index method in a tuple. T dot index will give you the index of whatever you're looking for. You can count. T dot count. It will tell you how many B's are there, which is 1, right? Then T dot count A. It will tell you how many A's are there, which are what? 2 from here. You can see, right? They say, why use tuples? The list and tuples are very similar, so you may find yourself exchanging use cases for either one. However, you should use a tuple for collections of sequences that shouldn't be changed, like I said, such as dates of the year or user information such as address, street, city, and that. So we have sets. This is another sequence, another type of that sequence data type. Another fundamental data structure is the sets. Sets are unordered collection of unique elements. We can construct them by using the set parenthesis function. Let's go ahead and make a set to see how it works. So constructing a set. So I said, tuple by using parentheses. Also a set by using parentheses. But the difference between a set and a tuple is that you must always put the set keyword before writing what is in the set. So now we say x here is equal to set. This is an empty set, right? So if I say x dot add 1, so this is actually a method. X dot add 1, right? So if I should print x to my set now, but the thing that when you print a set, just like in mathematics, it's curly brackets we use now. Remember in math, want to declare a set, you use a curly bracket. Then you now put your items there. But you want to declare a set, you must use the set keyword, then parentheses. Then when you now print it, to print in what? Like this. So if I say x dot add 2 and I print x, so you see my set is taking shape, right? 1, 2.
So it means set is mutable.
No, it's not mutable. I'm just adding. It's just a method you can add. So they say note the curly brackets. This does not indicate a dictionary, right? A set has only unique entries. So what happens when we try to add something that is already in a set, right? So a set is unique. What I'm trying to say is this: if I say we've already added one in that set, right? Let's add one again. Then we'll now print it. It doesn't duplicate. You understand? So that's one difference of a set that's the difference of a set to a tuple to a list, right? In a list you can duplicate. In a tuple you can duplicate, but in a set you cannot duplicate. So see now now notice how it won't replace another one there. That is because a set is only concerned with unique elements. We can cast a list with multiple repeat elements to a set to get the unique elements. For example, now this is a list, right? I told you a list can carry multiple things. So we have plenty ones, plenty twos, and plenty threes. When I print it, right, I will still get my value. But now, if I want to have it as a unique, if I just want to have the numbers to be unique, if I pass it through the set method, right, it will just give me 1, 2, 3. You understand? So look at this set, then my list passed in parentheses. Can you see? It only gives me what? 1, 2, 3, and it is a what? Set. One of the curly brackets. So the difference between a set and a dictionary is that a set is not a key value mapping. You understand? It's not a key value mapping. Just like a dictionary. A dictionary uses curly brackets, but you have to map a key to a value. But a set just holds normal data types. You see, you can also quickly create a set with just the what? Curly bracket. You can say my set is equal to 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, right? This one will still give me 1, 2, 3 as the answer. It will still give me 1, 2, 3 because once you duplicate, it will ignore the other numbers and then it just tells you this is what it is, right? So if you say type my set, it tells you that it is what? It is a set. So that's basically all about this specific topic. Any question before we move to functions?
So for lists now, we have insert, append, pop, reverse, and index. These are called methods, right?
The index is not a method for lists.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a method for tuple.
It's a method for
Tuple.
tuple. Yes, it's tuple. It's tuple. It's tuple. You guys, I don't coming to this class. And I've noticed you. I've seen you once.
Yeah, that's the first place.
Oh, no. Okay, please. Next question. Is there any other question? No, ask me if you have question.
That's online, where they have questions. We are thinking
Please, any
about-
question online? Chima. The code for the file. What did I do there? Okay, I think the time is up for this. Okay, it's back.
It was late, it's late.
So you said last week I submitted my WhatsApp number so I can be added. Okay. Who did you send it to? The boy who you sent it to. He used to come here. I beg. I don't know. Let's see. How do we? Do you know what? You're on the group, right? Can you add? Can you write on the group? But please write on the group. Tell them please add this number. Let them add this number. I beg.
Okay, it's difficult to be added now.
Unless is it difficult? Unless probably it has exceeded the number, which I doubt. You can add. How many are there in the group?
When the class is about running on.
But people, did you know what one thing I noticed from these trainings? Like people never take them serious. Especially when you say it's free. The enticing part is supposed to be the free part. But when people say it's free, everybody will show interest too, but to show commitment, zero. But the moment you pay for it, you value it.
It's not in all cases. Because if you know where you're going to and you belong into habits,
You know, that's it. As I say, people are. I know we've done a lot of free trainings, and this is always the outcome.
I know.
Then towards the end, people will now start telling you, please sir, I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that. And you can't help them at that time. Yes, sir. Okay.
Not with this one, the assignment. I see that assignment still like half the world.
Yes.
The way it's written now.
Okay, let's look at the assignment.
Okay, the assignment
I will explain it. You go and do it.
Yeah.
It's a task. The task here, given an integer. An integer
1, 2, 3.
is 1, 2, 3, right? No, it's not. It's not 1, 2, 3.
Integer numbers.
Sorry, please. I'll get this number one question. Let's keep it. It's not complete. Let's look at number 2. But what number 1 is telling us, Sha, were to use the if, right? Or to print. Is it if? I don't know. Is it n? I don't know whether it's n because it said given an integer here, right? Given an integer n. Maybe this is n. Let's just say it's n, right? Perform the following conditional actions. Conditional, you're using if, right? It said if n is odd, print weird. If n is even and in the inclusive range of, so this is where the problem is. There's supposed to be a specific number here, a specific range. Then if n is even and inclusive of the range this to this, if n is greater than,
Can you use alphabet on range?
no, it's supposed to be
Yeah,
a
it
number.
can be a number, yes.
No, but I don't want to put the number because I have to go back to.
So go back. So confusion is already setting in.
When I read it, I was like, what am I reading?
I think that's where the issue is from. Okay, just to make it
Like I think the slide you finish teaching us with now, we'll have them, isn't it?
it doesn't have them. I'm trying to think where I got it from.
No, this particular thing you're teaching us now, we don't have it anyway.
This what I just finished teaching.
Yes, the lists, the pop-up and the rest and the
And that's why I said I tried uploading it on this thing that you're trying to check.
Yeah.
I'll do it today.
please.
I'll do it today. I thought I promised to do it yesterday. I cannot upload an assignment without uploading the notes. So for the assignments to be there, that means I'm supposed to have the. Please just give me this. I will explain this right. I'll put a little explanation on the side.
Okay.
Let's just go to the second one. The second one says, provided the code stub. Did I give you the code? I didn't give you the code. Not complete.
The assignment is incomplete. So go
But
and
you can write the code. It said, provided the code stub reads an integer n. Now, I was supposed to give you a little code so you complete it. So I will still do it, right? So provided the code stub reads an integer n from input, that means you're using the input word.
statement.
So you're providing an input for all non-integer n. Print I raised to the power of what? 2. That's what this question is telling you. The provided code stub provides an integer n, right? From inputs. So you're going to use a is equal to int input, enter a number. That's your first line of code, right? I is or b is equal to this. For all non-negative integer n, print I raised to the power of what? 2. Example, n is equal to 3. Right? If n is equal to 3, that's your range now. You're not going to exceed 3. The list of non-negative integers that are less than n equal to 3 is what? 0, 1, and what? 2. So print the square of the number in a separate line. So square of 0 is 0. 0 square is 0. 1 square is 1. 2 square is what? 4. So this is how it's going to look like. So input format. The first and only line contains the integer n. Constraints. 1 is less than or equal to n, less than or equal to what? 20. Output format. Print n lines, 1 corresponding to each I. You're using for loop. You're using for loop here. You understand? So please, I'll go back and rework it, and I'll still resend the assignment.
So please explain the output.
The output. The output format now, you're supposed to print n lines. So n lines, no, you're printing each on a new line. So if you have like 4 lines, if you have 4, if your n is equal to 4, you're printing 4 lines for each corresponding I. So I are now the numbers that are less than n. So if your n is 4, so you're going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So you're going to print it in what? 4 lines. So sample output, look at it, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 4, 9, and 16. So please, I will rework this and I will send it with the other materials. The main difference between a set and a tuple is that a set is non-mutable and a list is mutable. Then you can look at how they are declared, right? A set uses curly brackets, while a list uses square brackets. I think if there's no further question, let's go to functions. Functions. Functions in Python. So we are actually hitting where we're supposed to hit. So goes with the next week. We'll jump to NumPy. If we can do NumPy and Python and pandas, then we now have one more class. Then we can now start work still they shall. Because we don't have time. This class is supposed to finish by I think next week. It's
That
supposed to
should be
finish.
extended.
Well, because everything is time bound, you're supposed to go for internship.
But
Where are you going to do
so
internship?
without
And you
the
look for-
knowledge, how can you want the knowledge is
That's why you see the point in learning never stops.
Yes, but-
After we end here, you
But if
go.
we can get people the legal side, at least we can. Internship is secondary. This one is primary aspect.
Okay.
Internship, what's the going to be?
I don't know if you have somewhere to do your internship. If you get somewhere you can do your internship.
But you're the one that needs to find someone.
So we I don't know. We can look for.
Can we do it here?
No, but that day, like you were saying, that Mr. Hayat, you were saying people that are working, they know how
Yeah.
people can figure out.
Yeah.
But people that are not working and they are ready to do it, instead they will find a place.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Let us keep it like that.
Yeah, we will go do our
Let's say a function is a block of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Please let us look at this very well. Block of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Functions provide better modularity for your application and a high degree of code reusing. Right? So what a function does is a block. You write a block of codes, right? If they are organized, you can still use them from time to time to perform one function, right? Just imagine you want to add two numbers, right? Instead of you writing 2 plus 2, a equal to 2, b equal to 2, now come and do a plus b to give you for every time. What the function does is that it will just write a specific block of code whereby when you now come and put a is 2, b is 3, and you hit enter, it gives the answer. We do the same thing, so you don't have to rewrite it
Like a
again.
template.
Yeah, let's say that. Defining a function. You can define functions by the following rules. Function blocks begin with the keyword def, right? Def, short for define, followed by the function name and what? Parentheses. Please, when we talk about parentheses, we're talking about this normal thing we call bracket. Yeah. Okay. Any input parameters or arguments should be placed within these parentheses. You can also define parentheses inside this. You can also define parameters inside these parentheses. The first statement of a function can be an optional statement, the documentation string of the function, or the doc string. The code block within every function starts with a colon and is indented. We are going to see all this. The statement return expression exits, that's the return expression exits a function, optionally passing back an expression to the caller. The return statement with no argument is the same as return none. So this is how you declare a function. Def function name, then your parameters in parentheses, right? Then a colon will provide an indent. That's a function underscore doc string describing what function does. This is optional, that's what they said. The list of expressions to be executed, then you return. This is what will now print it for you. Look at an example here. The following function takes two numbers as input parameters and prints out the sum. That was just like I said about this thing. So we now say we're going to declare a function. Def print sum. That's the name of our function. Print underscore sum. So we're passing two parameters A and B. That we want to find the sum of what? Two numbers. So this prints the sum of what? Two numbers. Can you see? This is just a string. So we now say print A and B, then return. This is us defining the function. Are you with me? So let me run this. It will not give me any output yet. So when I now come down here, we now say calling the function. I will now have to call the function to get my output. So defining a function only gives it a name. Specifies the parameters that are to be included in the function and structures the blocks of code. In order to use the function, you must call the name and pass in the required parameters. To demonstrate it, we call the print sum function we created. So this is how we call this one. We call the function what? Print sum. When I now say print sum and I pass two numbers, 5 and 6, 5 is my A, 6 is my B. So this is now telling me it wants to add what? 5 and 6, which will now give me what? 11. Do you understand? Let's go back here. Defining the function. Name of my function is what? Print sum. I pass the parameters A and B. Are you with me? If yes. So let me add, let's spice it up. Let me add C, right? I want to print three numbers, right? And I'll say A plus B plus C, right? When I run this, you understand? It won't give me an out, but see where my output will come. 5, 6, comma, let's say 7.
I think I think your students understand it is not on the lecture.
Okay? Sorry about that.
That means you start all over again.
That's what it means.
That means it's good for us to rewind it.
Sorry, please. Sorry, I believe you can see my screen now. So let's go back. We're talking about functions here, right? You say a function is a block of organized, reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Functions provide better modularity for your application and a high degree of code reusing. So what that means is, like I said, you want to print two numbers, like the example I was just showing. You want to print 2 or 3 numbers, like the example I was just showing. You have to, when you write a function, when you write a block of code, right, you can still reuse it to print other numbers. You understand? Unlike when if I want to print A and B without using a function, I will come and say A plus B is equal to this, and I'll get an answer, right? So defining a function, they say you can define a function by the following rules. Function blocks begin with the keyword DEF. So please, if you want to define a function, always start with what? DEF. If not, it is not a function. You understand? Followed by the function name and what? Parenthesis. Def keyword, function name, and what? Parenthesis, right? Then any input parameters or arguments should be placed within what? The parentheses. The parameters that you want to work with, right? Let it be in that parenthesis, right? You can also define parameters inside these parentheses. The first statement of the function can be optional. That is the documentation string of the function, or what they call the doc string. That's just supposed to show you, to tell you what the function wants to do. The code block within every function starts with a colon and is what? Indented. So after declaring or after defining your function, you put a colon. Once you hit enter, it will indent. It will give you a space from the, like a margin, right? So that you can write your block of code. The statement return exits a function, optionally passing back an expression to the caller. A return statement with no argument is the same as return none. So this is an example of a function. Def function name, then parameters will be here. Function understood. So this is like the doc string here. Like I said, it's optional. Then list of expressions to be executed, then return expression. So we had an example here. They said if the following function takes 2 numbers as input parameters and prints. Okay, let's go back to 2. I was using 2 initially, so let's return back to 2. Takes 2 numbers and prints out the sum. So look at this. The first line says def print sum A, B. This def shows that I'm actually declaring a function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Print sum is my function name. Then my parentheses A and B are my parameters that I want to work with. Is that okay? Then look at my doc string. It says this prints the sum of 2 numbers A and B. This is not going to be printed. It's just a doc string telling you what my function will do. Then look at my statement here. Print A and B. Then return. We say return ends the function, right? but it doesn't print an output. So when I run this, I get that. Now, if I want to call this, it's what they call calling a function. So calling a function means defining a function only gives it a name. When you define a function, it only gives that function what? A name. Specifies the parameters that are to be included in the function and structures the block of code. In order to use a function, you must call the name and pass in the required arguments. Now, to demonstrate this, please, arguments and parameters, I might use them interchangeably, right? But I like to call the parameters the one I'm putting in the function, then arguments are the ones I'm using to call the function. Is that okay? So to demonstrate this, we call the print sum function created above. So you're going to call the function name, which is print sum here, right? When I now say print sum and I pass in two numbers, because I say A and B, it will give me what? 11, right? So just like I said, I wanted to do the one for three numbers. I can have A, B, comma, and what? C. So here I can say this print what? Three numbers. Then I'll now say A plus B plus C. Understand? Then when I hit return, and I'll now come and call it here 5, 6, comma what? 7. When I run this, it gives me what? 18. So first of all, you have to declare your function, then you can now what? Call your function.
There's something that you did in declaring of the function, the first one, from the beginning, here. At the end, after the after the brackets, the hyphen,
Semicolon.
column.
Sorry, not semicolon.
Column. So it wasn't mentioned on your narrative.
It was mentioned. Let me tell you what that does. Okay, this is my function, right? When I don't put a colon, I hit enter. Can you see where it starts from?
Okay.
Then when I now put my colon,
It will not take.
when I put my colon,
content,
can you see what happens there?
That was right.
So you have to put that
Okay.
so that indent to be there. If you don't put that colon, it won't work. So look at passing values. Passed by reference. All parameters, arguments in Python language are passed by reference. It means if you change what the parameter refers to within a function, the change will also reflect back in calling the function. Just like what we did here, right? Initially it was printing 2, right? Now we now printed 3. So I've changed it. I've changed the parameters. That's why it affected the one that is down. So look at this one now. So look at this. For example, def change name. That my name of my function now is what? Change name. And I'm now passing the parameter, which is what? Name. So we say print. The passed name is curly bracket dot format name. You remember the dot format? Remember dot format? Thought about it in the last class. Dot format does it? I don't have to like now come and start writing a variable for a name. The dot format name will automatically just pick the name from the function for me. So now say change the name. Name is equal to what? Harry Potter. Are you with me? Then print the new name is in this function is this dot what? Format name, right? Then return. So I'm ending my function here. You understand? So I want to now call the function. Name is equal to what? John Stone. Then change name, comma name. Right? So let's run this. So can you see what happens here? This is me calling the function. This is me calling the function. The past name, right, is what? John Snow. This is the past name. You understand? So if you want to call the function, this is the past name, which is where you see the past name is John Snow, which is dot format dot name. To carry it here, right? So to change the name now, this is where the block of code starts from here, which is now telling me that the new name is what? Harry Potter. So you can use a function for so many things. Function arguments. You can call a function by using the following types of formal arguments: required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. So this one, I think you can read all these ones now. I need to read it. Required arguments are arguments passed to a function in correct positional order the number of arguments in the function call should match exactly. So if you put two parameters, we need you to call two parameters. You understand? If you call a function without the required argument, it throws a what? An error.
Error.
So change name. Here. We have only one argument here. So change name to what? Is an okay. Missing one. Can you see? Can you see what happened here? Because we did not call the required argument. What does it say here? Missing one required positional what? Argument. So come here now. Change name to what? Opeyemi. This should run. Can you see? So from that other function we created, right? The past name is what? Opeyemi. The new name is what? Harry Potter. So if it needs a required argument, please put in that what? Argument. Else it will not work. So keyword arguments. We are breaking down the arguments one by one. Keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are related to function calls. When you use keyword arguments in a function call, the caller identifies the argument by the parameter name. So now say change name. Name is equal to what? Mercy. So this is now a keyword what? Argument. We have another one here, print info. Def, print info, name, comma, age. This prints the info about the person. Print name equal to name. Age is age, then return it. So print info. Now this is me calling the function. Right? With me calling the function. So when I run this, it tells me name is Jesse and age is what? 20. So if I like, I can do more here. What's that? Control Z. I can see here, print info.
Name. Report.
Name is equal to
Gash.
How is it the gash? Like
GASH.
where do you get this name from? Age. Age is equal to 34. Right. So if I run this, it will tell me what name is Gash.
You see?
Age is what? 34. So default argument. A default argument is an argument that assumes a default value. If a value is not provided in the function call or that argument, the following example given is an idea on default argument. It prints default age if it is not what? Passed. So we have, let me take this one out. We have print info. Okay, can you see? Print info to age is equal to 25. This prints the info about the person. Age is blah, blah, blah. So now, let's do this. It will still bring out what? Because now, why is default? Because you've already passed a variable here. You understand? So if you choose to pass a parameter here, it will override that other 25 you put and what? Use 45. That's what they call default. You know when they say default setting. When you buy a phone, your phone comes preset. You can now choose to tune it to how you want it. The day you choose to press factory reset, it goes back to what? Default setting. So that 8 equal to 25 is like the default argument, right? But if I choose to pass another variable and call maybe 45, it will now override 25 and give me what? That's what they're trying to explain here. That's why you see something that I prefer.
But is that permanent?
What's that?
Or if I call it again,
No, if you call another thing, it will still change. So what I'm trying to say, that there is a default. Let me explain what I'm saying. They said a default argument is an argument that assumes a default value, right?
25.
If a value is not provided, like what we did in this first
You now
situation,
select the default.
can you say this is my function, right? Then this is me now. Oh, this side down, I'll delete you. Then this is me now calling my function. This means I'm calling my function. You understand? So now, if you look at here, look at the parenthesis. Is anything passed in that bracket? Nothing, right? In this place where I'm calling my function, is there anything passed there?
Nothing.
So because nothing is passed here, it will now print the default one, which is what 25 for me. That's what it did here. She get. But if I now choose to pass a number here, maybe 450,
45 or
if someone will live up to 450, and I run it, it tells me what 450. Do you understand?
Every time you call the function after that, without putting a fixed age, it gives out the default.
Yeah. Variable length arguments. Okay. So where are we?
we're in class.
Okay, so variable length argument, I think this is the fourth and the last, right? Variable length. You may need to process a function for more arguments than you specified while defining the function. These arguments are called variable lengths. So those online. The owners of Nigeria have struck. Can you imagine? I went to mute my. Can you hear me? Sorry, I think I muted my.
Call the function on NEPA.
NEPA is a function of taking light.
Function.
Yeah,
I told you.
you see like
Function of taking light.
The problem for this will come up. I hope this guy is around. Yeah, he's standing there.
You went and changed
Today's the way they took the light is okay. Like before,
it. Like if you press down before you go
threatening to bomb things.
Ah, so please let the setup come up. Yeah,
so the assignment.
I will rephrase it and give you the right.
This line reset if n is even and in inclusive range.
And that's what I'm saying. There is that range I'm trying to. I don't want to put a range there, but I want to get the main range. Please password.
Okay. In this tuition, there is no particular course.
It's very clear to sign up.
Yes, I've done that.
You sign up.
The success is created.
Have you signed up?
The success. The account is created.
Have you signed
Okay. So our variable length arguments, right? Those online. I hope you can see my screen. Variable length argument. So you need to process a function for more arguments than you specified while defining the function. These arguments are called variable length arguments and are not named in the function definition, unlike required and default arguments. So we have this like this.
Okay, we're choosing, yeah.
So the function name, formal arguments times variable arg tuple. So let's look at this now. They say an asterisk is placed before the variable name that holds the values of all non-keyword. Variable argument, okay, this tuple remains empty if no additional arguments are specified during the function call. Following is a simple example. So we now have def print args. We have name. Then can you see the asterisk here? This is the variable length argument here, right? Print args. We have name, then scores, right? This print a variable passed argument. It's a print name is dot format name. Then print info in variable length argument. That's for var in score, print var. So let's do something here. So they said the first one asks us to print a name, right? So this is us. Let me run this. So this is me now calling my function. Print args. So the name here will be John. So we'll say name is John. Then let us see what to print. So can you see? Name is John. Then it now prints what? We said for var in scores. Now look at this. We said print args. The parameters here are name and what? Scores, right? So this print a variable passed argument. So we now say print name is what? That this dot format name, right? To where format name will go and pick the name where it kept. Yeah. So printing info in variable length argument. So for var in scores, print var. So this is the name John, right? Which is for name. Then these are the words scores. So now, whenever it prints John, it will now print what?
The scores.
All the scores for me. You understand?
So if you change the name, the name you put there, it brings scores. Or you also declare this.
I think we can print this without the score. Let's see something. It's able to still work. Variable length arguments. Look at what they said here. They said the arguments are called variable lengths. Okay, I'm coming. The asterisk is placed before the variable name, right? That holds the values of all non-keyword variables, right? The tuple remains empty if no additional arguments are specified during the function call. So now, can you see? This is where this asterisk declares my variable length argument for me, which is call. Now, if I want to get maybe a man called John and some scores he got, right? John, I print the name John, right? And I can now maybe put out scores, maybe 20, 30, 40, and 50, right? When I run this, it will print John and all his scores. If I don't put the scores, it is still going to print for me.
Print only John's
To
name.
print only John's name. So it doesn't really follow.
That's my argument because I'm looking at the situation. When you put John, it's like when you're doing indexing with Excel. As soon as configuring the index, as soon as you put the person's name, the person's follow details will come.
Yeah. But in this situation, the variable is not, that variable argument is not really needed. Right?
Okay.
Probably with time, I think maybe I'll shed more light on this
Yes,
specific one.
because in that course, format, it should come from the area of this dot format.
The format to pick the name.
And you can put scores.
You can look at the score. They said the scores are not really needed from here. They said the tuple remains empty if no additional arguments are specified during the function call.
Okay.
So if those arguments for scores are not specified, it will remain. It will just only print what name is what John. But if I choose to bring, there are two parameters there, name and score.
scores.
But the score is put with asterisk because what? It holds all the non-keyword variable arguments. So all these ones I'm going to put, anything I'm going to put here are non-keyword arguments. So they're not really needed. But you can always put them.
Okay.
So return statement. The statement return expression exits a function. It ends a function, right? But optionally passing back an expression to the caller. So if you don't put return, it doesn't go back to what the call function. So in your function, always put a return statement. And say def sum AB, add both the parameters and return total. Total A plus B, then return what? Total. So now total is equal to sum of what? So we're calling the total now. Total is equal to sum of A plus B, then print what? Total. So to give me what? 30. Do you understand? This is one way you can do this, right? If you use the total. So to get total is equal to what? So can you see what we're doing here? Total is equal to, we still call what? The function, which is sum here. I don't know if you get me. I still have to call the sum here. I cannot say, if I do this, it won't work. I cannot say this.
No, it can't work.
I can't say this.
Because from the initial listing, it must
be called.
It must be called.
So if I do this now, well, it still gives me 30. I still get 30. So just like in Excel now, those built-in functions, when you put sum, and you can also do 10 plus this, and it will still give you the same answer.
Why in this one is different? There is no argument like placing inbuilt or default setting on this. You're just this is ordinary calculation you just did.
Yeah.
But this the programming you're doing is something that if you impute any figure at the end, it will just stand. Yeah, you have flash. Because all these things now we need to calculate. Because we are supposed to be following, do the answer. This one where following. I don't know whether I post or not.
No, as I'm finishing this class, I'll post it.
Okay.
I'll post it. I'll try posting it again. Please, those online, can you hear me? Okay. I don't know why my mic. Probably I'm pressing it.
Online, you can look. You see 3, 4, 8.
So global and local variables, right? Variables that are defined inside a function body are called local, have a local scope, and those outside have a global scope. This means that local variables can be accessed only inside the function in which they are declared, whereas global variables can be accessed throughout the program body by all functions. When you call a function the variables declared inside, it brought into scope. So look at an example here. This sum is equal to 0. This is what? A global variable.
You
Then
must declare it first.
yes, you must declare it outside the function.
Outside
That's
the
why it's called a global variable. Then now say def add num a comma b, add both parameters and return total. Sum is equal to a plus b. Print the total inside the function is dot format sum, then return what? Sum. Now you can call the sum function. Add number 10 comma what? 20. So we do this. Can you see? The total inside the function is what? 30. 10 plus 20. You understand? What the total outside the function is what? 0.
So what are they trying to achieve?
Well, we'll see. It will make sense. And sometimes you have to need a global variable to work with. So sometimes you might have more than one function, and there is this variable that you need for all the functions. You understand? So you can declare a global variable outside all the functions
From beginning.
from the beginning. So when you put in your various functions, you can still always call back that variable to work with the others. So to say def multiply this is multiply. Y. This will work. So this is to get modulus of an to get print odd and even number. This is a function to print odd and even number. So return. So we have def number x. So if x modulo 2 is equal to 0, you know what modulo means now? When you divide a number or divide two numbers and it gives you 0, that number is even. You understand? When you divide two numbers and it gives you
You return 1.
it gives you 1 or return something odd, it gives you 1, that number is what? Odd. So this is the best way to know whether a number is odd or even, using modulo arithmetic.
Okay, the two plus there that are there, plus sign,
Equal sign.
equal sign, is
I explained it yesterday. I said in Python, when you see,
that yesterday's lectures, you know how it was going.
it's not how it was going.
NEPA was even better than that one.
What happened today? How was it going?
It will come on, it will go off. Before you know it, I was the one that was complaining now.
You're the one that is folk tale by
Folktale, yes, by moonlight.
Okay. I had a feeling it was too. Okay. To find even or odd number, it's always advised to use modular arithmetic. In modular arithmetic, it always gives you the output. That's how modular arithmetic works. So if the output is 0, it's even. If not, it is what? Odd. So when we run this, then we now pass the number 4. 4 is definitely what?
Even.
Even. If you pass
5.
5, it will tell you that it's what? It's odd.
Oh.
So here,
Odd, yes. S odd, print odd. Oh, yeah.
this one is the same thing. Number, even. So we have another one here. It's a def number. If x modulo 2 is 0, print this is even number format. If x divided by 2 is 1, print is what? Odd number. Then return. So the 6 is an even number. So num sum. This one, you can use a for loop in this. A comma b, sum is equal to 0. For I in range a comma b comma 1, sum plus I, then return sum.
And this is for
just range. What this does is this range, I in range, we're adding numbers, right? We want to add numbers. Num sum, right? A comma b. Then sum is equal to what? 0. Then for I in range a comma b, then 1, right? What that means is that the range now, now can you see what we call here? The range is from 50 to 195.
195.
So it's going to add all numbers from 50 to 195. That's why we're getting 17,690.
it's going to
Add all
Okay,
numbers.
yeah, because
That's
if
what
you
that
return
function
one.
does.
Oh,
Understand?
so if you return 0, it means all the even numbers.
So that is it. Even sum. This one was what? Num sum, right? This now is even sum. For even numbers. So you're going to add
All the
even numbers within a range, right? The range of 1 to 100. So to add all the even numbers, which is what? 2,450. So they say like I said, your function name is not static, right? The fact I'm calling this function even sum doesn't mean you must use even sum. You can choose to call it another
You
thing.
can even call it sum.
If you call it sum, so that you don't get confused.
And when you say diff,
You can
as
say-
you declare diff, then sum.
You can say if you can say some even, you can say whatever. But let there be some form of even, so that when you go, you don't want to with code. Even you as the user, sometimes you can go back to look at your code. If you don't declare some things well,
You miss out.
you'll be confused. You say, what's this one? What's this one? You have to now start troubleshooting and debugging some things before you now come and say, oh, but that time you to debug is expensive.
So the whole thing begins from defining
Defining it.
So you first give map
Yes.
it out.
That's why I'd be surprised if
give it a name,
you see some
then you have
if you see some programmers
work
code,
on it.
you'll be surprised the names they put. You understand? They just put certain names so that the code, you're the one using your
It's
code.
not to them, yes.
That's why sometimes it's very hard for one programmer
Someone has
to come and work on that. You understand? It must be very good
Yes.
to understand.
What this person has.
She gets sometimes it's looking at the flow. That's why if you're good with looking at, but if you're looking at the variable name, if I choose to name my variable my name,
Yes.
so that's why you see in most programming languages what they call comments,
Yes,
right?
comment, yeah.
Like in PHP, I think it's less than and question mark to put a comment, put a comment.
But ours is just
In Python,
Asterisk.
it's just
Asterisk.
it's the hash this thing. You get. So what those comments are for is that, but most programmers don't really have the time. I'm thinking of writing code to work. I cannot start commenting this what this code does.
Defining
So it's very few who do that. That's why it's very hard as a programmer that's coming to work on that person's code. Most what they prefer to do is to write
off
the whole
and
thing and
start
start
afresh.
again. So it's not. So this is sum of even numbers from 1 to 100. This is sum of odd numbers as well from 1 to 100. Sum of odd numbers from 1 to 100. This is to count a sentence, right? You can write a function to count a sentence. AB, counter is equal to 0 for I in A. If I is equal to B, count plus 1. So counter, what that means that we're looking for B. We want to count how many B's are there. If I is equal to B, if I is equal to B, that's if I is equal to B, counter plus 1, then print I. So return counter. So sentence count. So we want to count how many sentences are here. What happened? No, it's not. Okay, so we want to count the number of I's that are here. No, they work. Okay. I'll have to look at this thing again. I'm like the way it's coming up like, okay, you count the I and tell me that there are 4.
Okay, but you wanted to achieve the sentence.
This is the Viking army. Count I. Tell me I's are 4.
Replace.
Replace character. This is actually one logic. Let's see how we can explain this. Replace character. We have X, Y, U. Z is equal to an empty list. J is equal to 0. For I in X, Z dot append I. I'm putting it at the end. Print Z. While J is less than length of Z. Okay, let's see what it does.
No, you write down.
I mean, right time, but I didn't think I think that's why I left this thing. I wasn't getting what I was looking for. So I left this thing.
Leave it till you get it.
Please, I'll look at it today so that I'll
Let
me not confuse you. So that's all for functions. So I'll stop here for today. Because my head's already saturated.
Your eyes.
I swear. And I'm hungry.
I think there's restaurant out there.
I don't like their food. Let me off my mic. Yeah.
I don't know.
I never gone upstairs.
No, I've not.
How do you know?
No.
All right, my people online, if there's any question, please ask. By next class, I just wish we said we were supposed to meet on Monday.
Yes, I was there on Monday. We emphasized on it. I was there. I was the only one made full of myself.
Sorry. You know why I wasn't here on Monday? Monday, I wish I'm on the group chat. I would have communicated earlier, but I told the lady managing the because no, I didn't even tell her. I thought I told her that let the class let nobody come, but I escaped my mind. Monday was one hell of a day. My phone had an issue, first of all, and then to fix my phone. That was the first issue. So when I left my house, I went to fix my phone. From there, I had another appointment with one client at Kotampe. I had to go there. I left Kotampe around 12. So before I could come back here and everything, then there was an issue I needed to settle here. I didn't even have time to come downstairs. If not, I would have come downstairs and apologized to you. Maybe buy you one small Coke or Fanta.
Sound is not out of place. Though.
But please, I'm sorry.
I still buy the Coke.
Yeah, there are some things that buy you
It's only this man, not. So I don't know. I don't want to fix a date now that I will not be able to keep. Let us stick with our normal class.
So what was the problem yesterday? We were not really consistent. Was it the network or was it what?
I think it was the network, and I don't know. Sometimes sharing my screen on this app,
It was hanging.
it was quite a problem. So people online, if there's no question. I will end this right now so that we can go about our other duties. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys on. No, Monday is not me. On Wednesday,
That one is the physical or online.
it is virtual. Have a nice day.
Yes.